the artist. As the sole artist in this cookie-cutter city, Jonathan is that anomalous cog in the machine. So by thematic proxy, he is the disruptor. It's no coincidence that his last name is Switcher, as he is the personification of the change from the old soulless guard into the new vibrant era. But that's only Jonathan Switcher in a nutshell. He is a character defined by his struggles, yes, but more especially by his unwavering faith in the beauty of creation. By the start, we can see how this sets him apart from the pack. Unlike those around him, Jonathan is able to slow down to find this symmetry. He is like a homegrown, genuine diamond in the rough of this dull, corporate, cubit zirconium world. But you might be wondering, will anyone ever see his shiny brilliance? The art. Emmy, the titular mannequin who would be human, who emerges more like an impression, not like an actual person. Emmy more likely resembles the personification of Jonathan's creative energy and the beauty within it. If we go back to the opening montage, we can see how this energy manifests in everything he touches. It's not a stretch to say that Jonathan sculpted Emmy physically, that much is obvious. But he also sculpted her from the clay of his own mind. But that clay is erratic and enigmatic. And as the movie shows us, he is the only one that can see Emmy alive. Is Jonathan going crazy? Are we? Is she real? Or is she not real? The hunger. Like most artists, Jonathan is hungry as hell. He's starving, in fact. In the beginning, he's got to take whatever job he can get just to keep himself fed. But this makes it really hard to be creative. At the beginning, it's as if his creative spirit is on life support. And here, after being abandoned by his only emotional tie, he gets that support plug pulled. This is the make it or break it moment. Watch with his sadness and despair falling upon him like tears in rain. What's left of his starving spirit nearly succumbs to the darkness. But there she is, pulling him back into the light. But how is it that an inanimate object has such power? The conduit. So where was I? Oh yes, Emmy. Is she real? Or simply a figment of Jonathan's peculiar imagination? Well, she's real. And I don't mean to disappoint. This fact doesn't ruin the movie, but it doesn't make it better either. Actually, if I were to accuse this movie of anything, it would be on this point. Because it's a real loss of potential drama and intrigue that this movie doesn't exploit this angle, because then it would be asking us to question our own perceptions, which would be cool Twilight Zone level kind of stuff, like that one episode with the mannequins, remember that? But despite this mystery of Emmy, or the threat of a hostile takeover, more on that later, this isn't where the drama actually lies, because rather it's in the dark and ominous cloud of uncertainty, Jonathan's doubt about his own worth. But this dilemma isn't something Jonathan wears on his sleeve, at least not all the time. But have you ever heard of the expression, the eyes are the windows of the soul? The spark. Behind every great man, there is a mannequin. Remember that moment back at the beginning, just as Jonathan had lost everything, almost given up? But then he saw her in the window. It was like flash. Emmy restarted him, that engine of his creativity. And his motorcycle, which is by no mistake a lively red. Because Jonathan is that diamond in the rough, the sole color for this drab world. So with this spark, and a bit later this sign, this movie is setting us up for a collision. Prince and Company and Illustra, the regalia for modern retail, but also these corporate forces are the symbols of Jonathan's own personal struggle. Illustra is like the vanguard of cynicism, and Prince and Company is like the specter of self-doubt. So Jonathan must still tread carefully, so not to be crushed by the weight of either. But little does he know that this creative spark is about to spark something else. The rage. Jonathan and Emmy have been hard at work and play. The window displays at the front gates of Prince and Company have become the smash hit of the retail scene, but they have also become the window by which we see inside Jonathan's changing soul. With each subsequent design, both the man and the art are becoming more confident and bold. But just like Emmy, his desires and his pursuits will remain forever motionless, trapped in effigy behind glass, unless he finally lets go of doubt and gives himself over fully to his passions. And thank God he does. Because it's 80s Kim Cattrall, I mean, come on, it was no contest. But lost in the rapture of the moment, he can't see what's about to happen. The fusion. Alright, it's all come down to this. Every piece of the story has converged upon this point. The retail battle has gotten vicious, so vicious in fact, that kidnapping has become the modus operandi of the other side. But with Jonathan's new gumption, he isn't going to let a little thing like that stop him. So here we are, at that most critical moment. If Emmy dies, Jonathan won't lose his life, but he will lose his soul. And for an artist, that is death. And so you might be thinking this moment would be the worst moment for Emmy to retake human form, because a human woman actually weighs a lot more than a mannequin, and that's a fact. Trust me, I looked it up. But it actually makes perfect sense. If you think about it thematically, up to this point, the movie has been building upon and layering in Jonathan's lack of belief in his own beliefs, repeatedly testing his convictions. So maybe we have our own doubts too. Is he just a hopeless dreamer? Or does he have the right stuff? But this is the ultimate test. The hidden message. The reason why this movie is my spirit animal. I think what the movie is saying here is sometimes you just gotta risk everything. Go all in and hide nothing. Because if you're not living, you're just existing. If you're an artist like Jonathan, you gotta believe in your own art. Because if you don't, you're just a dummy. But Jonathan took a risk. He crossed over that tricky line. This is why she goes from mannequin to human. And this is why only now that everyone can see her as she really is. And here, through the mise-en-scène of this shot, my favorite shot in the movie, this single frame, we can visualize the journey that Jonathan has gone on, with the figure of the maintenance man acting as the person Jonathan used to be. And with he and Emmy higher in the foreground, we know for sure that they've climbed from the bottom to the top. So we follow their ascent to a crescendo. Now everyone can see through that window to the soul on the inside. And it's beautiful, man. It's no wonder why this movie was a sleeper hit back in 1987 and still resonates today. It's my spirit animal, yeah, but it's also about having dreams. And for a brief 90 minutes, Mannequin reminds us that dreams really can come true.